Class 8, and welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to conjugate AR verbs, and we're going to use the AR verbs that we learned in our last class. Our objectives today are going to be to conjugate the AR verbs, and also we're going to be able to translate the subject pronouns that go with the translations of the AR verbs. So first, I want to go over the AR verbs that we learned in the last class. Okay, I'm going to write the AR verb on the board, and then you tell me if you remember what the conjugation is. Cantar. Do you remember what that means?
To sing.
Very good. Okay. Bailar.
No say.
Okay, that means to dance. It's going to take some practice for you to remember all of the verbs. The next one is hablar.
To speak.
Very good. And the next one is viajar.
To travel.
Yep. The easy way to remember this one is the VI. You can think of your visa. You need your visa to travel. That's how I remember it. The next verb is ayudar.
To help.
Yep, to help. Perfect. There's a couple more that we have. Okay. Do you remember this one? Trabajar.
Yes, that one means to work, I think.
Yep, to work. The next one is pretty easy because it sounds like the English word. Estudiar.
I remember that one. That's to study.
Yep, to study. The next one is caminar.
No say.
This one's kind of tough. It's to walk. And the next verb is preguntar.
That one means to ask.
Yep. And actually, the word pregunta means question in English. So it's kind of related. That's just a little fun fact. And the last verb that we practiced yesterday was comprar.
To buy.
Yep, to buy. And if you notice, these all end in AR, which make them AR verbs. And in Spanish, we also have ER verbs and IR verbs, which we'll study at a later time. Okay, so now we're going to learn the subject pronouns so we can conjugate these verbs. Okay. If you guys didn't get them all, you can ask me after class and I'll go over them with you. Okay, so next we're going to learn the subject pronouns. In English, they're known as I, you. This one, you, is informal, so it's just like used with your friends. And then we have he, she, and you formal. Those all have the same ending. Then we have we. Then there's one that goes here, but you don't learn that one until you're in a further level of Spanish. And then we have they. Okay, so when you're conjugating these verbs in Spanish, you have to say, I dance, or you sing, or, we speak. So to use those, you need to know the translations of the subject pronouns, which are yo, tu, and don't forget the accent on the you. And then this one it's él for he, ella for she, and usted for you. And then we have we is nosotros, and they, if it's for a mixed group of guys and girls, it's ellos. For girls only, it's ellas. And ustedes. Try to come over here. Okay, so then, do you guys have these in your notes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to go over how to conjugate the AR verbs. Okay, so for each one of these pronouns, we have, for each one of the pronouns, there is a different ending for the verb. So for the yo form, which is for the I in English, you add on an O. For the tu form, for AR verbs, you add on as. For él, ella, and usted, you add a. For nosotros, you add amos at the end. And for ellos, ellas, and ustedes, oops, I missed an E. You add on. Okay, so now that you have the endings and the subject pronouns, I'm going to show you exactly how to conjugate these verbs. Okay, we're going to learn using the verb hablar, because that's one of my favorites, because I think it's one of the easiest. So we have hablar, which means, do you remember what it means?
To speak.
Yep. Perfect. So when you're conjugating an AR verb, the AR at the end, let me show you with a different color so you can kind of see. The AR at the end, this is your ending. Okay? And then the rest of the verb, this is your stem. This never changes unless it's irregular, which you'll learn that when you're in more advanced level with different verbs. This one never changes. So when you're conjugating an AR verb, you remove the AR and you attach the ending. If you want to say I speak, you would use yo. So then you would have to use the yo form. So then you attach an O on the end. So then your answer would be hablo. Yo hablo. Which translates to I speak. And it's the same if you want to do it with tu, you speak, tu hablas, or él habla, he speaks. Okay? So now I just want to do a little bit of practice to see if you kind of understand it. And we'll do a lot of practice with this so you can get the hang of changing the verbs. Okay, so I'm going to put a verb on here with the subject pronoun, and then you tell me if you know the ending. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, first verb. We're going to go with I sing. That's yo. Then you would use cantar. Do you remember what part of it you take off?
The AR
Yep. Remove the AR and add.
and O.
Perfect. So it'd be yo canto. I sing. Okay, let's try another one. How about we dance? Do you remember what we was?
No.
Think.
Nosotros.
Yep, perfect. Nosotros. And then what's the verb for to dance?
Bailar.
Yep, bailar. And then you take off the
The AR.
yep, and you add
AMOS.
yep. So that would make it
Nosotros bailamos.
perfect. We dance. Do you think you got the hang of it?
Yes.
Perfect. Now we're gonna play a game. So I'm gonna split the class up into 2 groups, and then when you get into your groups, I'm gonna have each one of you. I'm gonna hand out you the little whiteboards, and each one of you are going to write. I'm gonna give you the English version of the translation, and you have to discuss with your group on the answer to the one I put on the board. And if you are able to translate it and put the conjugation down, you get 2 points. But if you can only do one or the other, you only get 1 point. Okay? So let's split into groups. And after this game, I'm going to give you a worksheet for homework, and then we are going to review at the next class. And then that'll be it. Okay?
Yes.
All right, let's go.